Hi everybody, it's Savannah. Welcome back to my channel. I'm sending you all so much love. And in today's video, we're going to be doing a flip through of the Timeless Journal. And it is from the $2 Tuesday Blue and Cream Kit. And then I'm also going to be showing you how to make that journal. But I'm going to be using the Floral Kit from the $2 Tuesday. So you should have seen by now probably a little video where I did a poem which was showing you the Blue and Cream Kit. If you haven't, it's going to be linked below, and it's also in the playlist for the $2 Tuesday. So I highly recommend checking it out. It's a really short video, but I think it turned out pretty cute. So I hope you like it. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started doing the flip through and then making the journal. And I forgot to mention that this journal is for sale. When it's sold, I will put sold in the title. So I did a seam, or the way I did a closure was just with the blue mesh, which I thought was really cute. This is a little tag. It is only attached, the ribbons are attached to the bulb pen, but there's lots of vintage linens on this cover. I left the back cover pretty plain, so whoever gets the journal, if they want to add something to it, they can. Here's a cute fabric, slow stitched, well, not slow stitched, it was stitched on the sewing machine, but a little flip up with a message underneath it. And then this was kind of cute. It says, be generous, and does it say? No, be curious. Sorry, I couldn't see that. It says be curious, but it's from a tag, and that's with one of the Polaroids. The Polaroid does come out, so you could journal on the back of it. Then this was a really fun tuck spot made with vintage linens, an up spot. And then again, that's some vintage quilting material with some of the sentiments just tucked in there. And then it's a tag that comes out with a pocket, and then you can journal on the back. So this tag here doesn't actually attach. It actually was part of the tuck up, but it looks like it's attached to it. Then this is one of the pockets, and I left this insert pretty blank. You could absolutely add a journal in there if you want more writing space, or you can use it as like artwork, art journaling, things like that. This is a piece of a very vintage fragile doily, or actually napkin, with a little flower underneath it, hiding underneath it, and a little dangle of beads. This pocket that I made, I loved it. I just took 3 pieces of scraps and glued them together, and then I just glued this towards the bottom of the page. And then I think over here I did the same thing, but that is like my new favorite way of doing a little tuck spot or pocket and using the scraps. And then I did some embossing with some gesso on that Polaroid. I did some hand embroidery on this pocket, and then it has a little vintage card. So like I said, there's lots of vintage bits and bobs in here, and a rusted paper clip. This is a Polaroid that I made into like a little cluster, and it's got lots of, or no, I'm sorry, not, it's the Polaroid is on there, but it's the card that goes into the pocket. And then when you flip it up, it has the sentiment of create from the heart. And I thought that was cute because the message you have to read through it and move through it. And then I just did some collaging on the inside, so it wasn't just a blank page. And then here's just another Polaroid tucked in with a sentiment. And then on the right page, that is embossed with the embossing that you heat up. So I really hope that you like this journal. Like I said, it is available for sale. It's little, but there's so much goodness in here. I was really surprised that I used so much of my special little vintage pieces in here. But I hope it goes to a wonderful, happy home. And if you haven't seen the other video, definitely check it out. when whoever purchases this, there is a whole bunch of oh, I'm about to show you. There's a whole bunch of all the leftover scraps and sentiments I'm going to include. Plus, what you don't see in this next part, I did add some extra fabrics and vintage trims in there too. So it's just a nice little goodie bag that when you get this journal and you start working in it, you have matching pieces. And like I said, I did add some extra bits that you're not going to see here, but these are the sentiments. There's some of the embossed paper trimmings that you can just do so much with. Some of the vintage newsprint that I used as a backing, more of the embossed paper and the sentiments. This is the little cards I did. I left those. You can use those as frames. And the fabric bits look small, but there's so much you can do with those little small pieces. So I hope you like it. And then all the little bits that you see here are on a very lightweight cardstock, which is really easy to distress. Some more of the bits of embossing, but that's a wax seal I made. So there's a total of 2 wax seals in this journal. And then, like I said, there's so many sentiments. And the sentiments were printed out full side. And then there's a sheet, I believe, that is not on cardstock of, I did it 2 per page of the sentiments, so they're a little bit smaller. And so all of this you're going to get with the purchase. So I really hope you like it. And the link to purchase it is going to be below, and it's in my Etsy shop, and I just have one of them. And I thank you for sending me love and prayers that you all do so much. If you're new here, my name is Savannah. This is Love Always Savannah, where we are on a mission to spread more love in the world. And I like to do that through crafting and creating beautiful things. So today we're working on making this journal. So I did a different kind of an intro to the video today, giving you all a preview of what we are making. And I want to know if you like that. Do you like seeing a little preview? Do you like to be surprised? It was kind of fun making the little intro videos, doing some poetry, creating the poetry, and the video. So let me know if you like that, because I really kind of like the story that goes along with it, with the journals. So we're working on our $2 Tuesday kits that was released this Tuesday. Many of you have bought the kits already, and I know you've been waiting for the tutorial videos, so they're here now because you have messaged me, and I'm excited that you guys are happy and excited about the kits. So you saw this one, which was done with the blue and cream kit. So what I did is I wanted to have a prototype made up ahead of time. And since we have 2 kits this week, and so you can kind of see what we're going to do. And then we're going to actually today make it with the floral kit. So you've seen both the kits being used, and so you can choose if you like one versus the other, or if you like them both. The links to the kits will be below. This journal is for sale. It is going to be for sale in my Etsy shop, and I'm primarily going to be doing my digitals in Ko-fi because it's a much easier process for you all to get the files, but the shipping rates are just way better in Etsy. So when I'm selling the journals, I'm going to sell them in Etsy. So the link for this is below. It is available. Once it sells, I will put a note up in the title that it's sold. And I think I'm probably going to sell the floral one too. I haven't decided that yet, so I will let you know. If it's for sale, it'll be in the link below too. Okay, so what we're going to start with. So I was inspired by Betty at, let me see, Betty's, oh, I have it pulled up here so I know, Betty's Custom Designs. So this is an accordion binding journal, and I've seen it before, but she just recently did a video a couple of days ago and it inspired me, so I'll link her video below. She, however, did hers with 12 by 12 paper, and I wanted to do the 11.5 paper because primarily that's what I use, is 8.5 by 11. My printer doesn't support a 12 by 12 paper, so I don't really use a lot of it. So I had to come up with the measurements, and I'm gonna put this here, and hopefully you guys can see this. When you come up, you can take a screenshot. Now this isn't gonna make sense to you now, but if you want to have the numbers, you can see them there. Take a screenshot. If this is too hard to see, then I will let me know in the comments, and I will put together a PDF and put it over on Ko-fi for free, and you can just download it. It took me a while to figure out the measurements. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, I would recommend doing this in the order that I'm showing you, because we're going to be gluing some pages together, and then we're going to, while those are drying, we're going to be working on the accordion. So it's just a great way of doing it. This one I did with cardstock. I did it with a cardstock that's kind of a crumbly cardstock, which is really nice because then it ages up and you can ruffle it up really easy. So I really liked it. But you can do it. I'm going to do the floral one with my Costco paper that I really love so much. So what we're going to do, so just to tell you, the base, which was the accordion, which you can't really see right now, which the paper gets glued to, there's little tabs that come up. We have a base here, and then we glued, once it was all made and completed, then I glued another piece on top to harden up the cover and give it a little bit more strength. Then you have basically two signatures, is what you would call them. We've got two signatures. This signature is made from one, well, technically two, because we're gluing them together, but it is made by one 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. Okay, and it's folded kind of like a zine or zine. So you have a page here, then you have a pocket. So then you have on the pocket page, you have this side and this side, and I just stuck a little booklet in here. So you definitely, and I'll maybe with the floral one I'll do it, I don't know. You can definitely sew in a few pages here to make it a little journal, a little writing journal, if you want more writing space. I didn't do that because I figured I would leave it up to whoever is gonna do it if they wanna make it and they have papers that they wanna use. So then this here is the other page. So you basically have 6 pages, front and back, from one 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. So you can print it double-sided if you want and use just one sheet of paper. Or you can do 2 and glue them together. I'm gonna do the 2 and glue them together. So it's super simple. So let's go ahead and get started. And as we work through this, it will make more sense. And I'm gonna try to make it as least complicated as possible. So I just selected, and what I did is I just picked a pattern and a solid. You could do 2 patterns. It's entirely up to you what you wanna do, because you're going to see. So this is what I did here, was a pattern and a solid. So here's pattern. This is the solid, is on the inside here. No, wait. Yes. So you have pattern here, solid. Inside the pocket is the pattern, solid, and then pattern. On this one, I folded it, in the same direction, but I flipped the solid in the pattern sheet on how I folded it. So this is solid, pattern, pattern, solid inside the pocket, pattern, and then solid again. So you will see on each of the pages multiple times the solid in the pattern, or 2 patterns if that's what you choose. So I am just gonna take my Beacon 3-in-1 here, because it's a good paper that doesn't warp the pages. It's a good ink for that, or you could do Fabri-Tac. And I am just gonna go around getting the edges really good. And I really do like these solvent-based or acetone-based glues for this. They hold so good. And then, because you don't even have to get full coverage and you get such good adherence. Okay, so we've got, just got to put the lid on right away, and it does kind of smell, but so now we're just going to line them up. And these aren't, well, some of the flower pages might be directional a little bit. And just double check your corners that you have it lined up as best you can. And then just smoosh it all together, okay? So I have done a lot of prep work. I'm trying to make my videos a little bit more concise, but still creative and fun. Okay, so that's the first one. I could have had this done, but I wanted to go through and show you the different options that you have. But I have a lot of my embellishments. All my fussy cut is done. I like to do a lot of the embossed papers, and even like cutting out some of the, using die cuts, because since I got my cutting machine, I'm really enjoying doing all those things. So I've done all of that ahead of time so that you guys don't have to sit and watch me do that, or I don't have to pause the video. I mean, there might be reasons I have to pause the video. So I just selected these two. Again, just what I felt like. And then I felt like with, oops, I didn't line up my corners over here. It's okay. This glue gives you a little bit of time, unlike art glitter glue, which gives you like no time to adjust. And if it's not perfect, it's not the end of the world. You could always trim it up a little bit. Or I recently got a stamp set. I'll just have to show it to you guys someday. And it has lots of colors in it, because I'm like, I get the Ranger oxides and distress inks and all that, but at the end of the day, it's kind of just stamp pads. So I found a really good set that I think I'm gonna like. I haven't really used it yet, so I'll let you know. And it's like a chalk, so it's like a flat. Yeah, I didn't quite get it there, but it's just the tiniest sliver. You can't even hardly see it. Especially with the white distressed aging. Like, it is tiny, tiny. Okay, so we're gonna set those aside. So now what we're going to do is we're going to work on our base, our accordion part. Okay, which is where the signatures are going to go into. Okay, so now on this, so for your signatures, your signature sheets need to be a full 8.5 by 11. You don't want to cut those down. When we fold them, and I made this mistake so many times, y'all, I had to reprint so many times, and it's so funny. Even after I made this one, this one, I still messed up. Do not cut your signatures. Leave them full pages, okay? The only thing you're cutting down is your base pages. So this is going to be the cover. And the reason, let me tell you, the reason I picked this is because this is going to get cut down to say 5.5, right? And then it's going to be this wide. And then I am going to put some kind of a topper on it. And so this has with a smaller pattern, it's going to give me more, I'm going to be able to see more pattern, versus if I did something like this one, right? Where if it gets cut down and then you only see part of it, and then I cover it with a topper, I'm covering up the main part of that paper. I mean, I could do this side and make that the back, because then that kind of shows, but still, does that make sense? This one wouldn't be as bad because, you know, you would still see quite a bit, but definitely the smaller pattern, I think, is better for the cover when you're doing a small journal. So keep that in mind when you're picking your patterns. You could do a solid pattern if you want and then just embellish it and be good with that. I just wanted to use this. So I'm going to set the cover apart. So this is the cover, this is the inside cover, so to speak. And these are going to get glued together eventually. So the first thing that we need to do with this is we need to cut it down to the height of our journal, which is 5.5. But we're leaving it 11 inches, right? So we want to leave it long, so we want to cut this way. And decide what pattern you want showing. I like the white aging, so I'm gonna keep more of that. So I am just gonna trim this to 5.5. And then I have this left over for working with in the journal and making things and framing things, okay? Now I'm gonna get my scoreboard. Here, which if you have a big scoreboard, let me tell you, it's going to be a lot easier to use a large scoreboard than it is a small scoreboard. What we want to do is we want to make, so starting from one side, and it doesn't matter which side you start from, your first score line is at 4.5 inches. So that is pretty straightforward. 4.5 inches. Is where we want to make our first score mark. Okay. So just do a little score mark. The next score mark that you want, whoops, let me put this back here, is at 4 7/8. Okay, so I have it right here. It's 4 7/8. An eighth is every 2 small lines, because in case you don't know, in case it's hard to read. So here, when you go to 1/2 inch, that's actually 8 lines. When you go to the full inch, it's 16 lines. So if you go every other, that's 8 lines total. If this is confusing, I'm sorry. It took me a little bit to figure out, but basically 4 7/8, we are gonna go 2 lines before the 1 inch, and that's gonna be 4 7/8. I mean, 2 lines before the, sorry, 2 lines before the 5 inch. Thing was not lined up right. There it goes. Yeah, I'm gonna have to return this for sure. Okay, so 4 7/8. Then your next one is gonna be at 5 1/4, which will be easy enough to figure out. So you're gonna go 5 1/4. Then the next one is at 5 5/8. So I'm gonna go. Okay, 5 5/8. Your next one is at 6 inches. Oh, that one looks like it's a little small. Next one is at 6 inches. Paper must have moved. Then your last one is at 6 3/8. So So that's how you're going to do it. 4 1/2, 4 7/8, 5 1/4, 5 5/8, 6 inches, 6 3/8. Those are your score lines, okay? Then you can put your scoreboard away. Okay, so now we have our sheet. So you want to line it up still, make sure it's even, and just fold over at the first score line on each side. And I find that's easiest to get those score lines folded first. And that way you can make sure, in case your score line got off a little bit, like mine did just a little bit, you can line it up and then correct that, okay? So from here, the next score line is gonna come up like this, and then you can fold it over. So you're gonna have a little mountain, a little ridge right there, okay? So that's your first, where your first signature is gonna go. So then what I do is I just turn it over and I do the same thing here. So we had our first line folded this way, and then we want to just raise up this next one, okay? Like that. Then we have space in the middle, and that space in the middle is going to be really helpful so that we have room. Can you imagine? I mean, this already kind of gator mouth. If I didn't leave that space in between there, and you could probably even leave more space. If you are working with a 12-inch wide, you could get more signatures in, or you could add and make your paper longer and do more signatures. So it's a very easy method. Once you figure out your score lines and your measurements, it's a really easy way to just add more things. So that's the hardest part. That's why I wanted to figure out where you go ahead and do your score lines at, okay? The next thing that we're gonna do is on the back here, where the little peak is, that part that comes out, we're gonna glue that together, okay? So we're just gonna put the glue in. I'm gonna get a good amount, okay? And then I flip it around and just go like this, because that's gonna be the easiest way to do it, okay? And then you want to give it a minute to set. Now, the other thing is on this part, if you do have art glitter glue, you could use your art glitter glue, because that, we already know this is where we want it to be, and it is going to set quicker if you do it with your art glitter glue. And then when we glue in the signatures, if you have a fast drying one, I would recommend using that as well for this part. So I'm just going to grab my, whoops, don't want it there. Okay, so I'm just going to grab my art glitter glue and glue that down. So that'll that'll just dry really, really fast. So this is what it looks like from the back. Actually, it does make the paper wetter. That's why I don't want to do a whole sheet. I got a little too much on there. Okay. Oops. So I'm going to make sure that's all glued down. So there we have our journal. I mean, our base is done. So it's not that hard. It's just figuring out the measurements. Okay, so now while this is going to kind of sit and dry, our signature pages that we already glued. See, this is why I said do it in this order, because things will be drying while we're working on the next step. This is why also I'm kind of liking doing a prototype, one, so you guys can see what we're making. And I think I said, let me know if you guys like that. Leave in the comments if you like to see ahead of time what you're making, so that it makes sense as we're doing it. But by me having a prototype, I can come up with these little tricks too. Okay, so then what we're gonna do is we're just gonna fold our paper that we glued together for our signatures. Oops, I'm trying to put the needle in the glue. We're gonna fold them in half. So on the first one, I'm gonna fold, and it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna put the solid color on the inside, and you just wanna line your edges up, you know, get them as straight as possible. If you have something to burnish it with, you can do that, okay? And then open it up, and you wanna make sure your pages are dry so they don't buckle on you. And then you wanna go the other direction. Like that, okay? So, and mine buckle a little bit inside, but a lot of times that ends up being the pocket, so you don't even see it, okay? But if you don't like that, then print double-sided. Okay, so then this one, I'm gonna do the pattern on the inside. Oops. I just don't want to be too rough with it. I want to go slowly to kind of warm those papers up, and then go the other direction. So it's the exact same steps as if you're making a zine, zine. Almost the exact same steps. Not quite. Well, no, I guess a zine, you fold it in thirds, right? So this is actually a little bit bigger. So then, so you have here the 8.5 by 11. You want to cut on the shorter side, right? So this is longer here. This is 5.5 inches. This is 4.5 inches. You want to cut on the 4.5 inch side, one side up to the center. Okay. Then the same thing on the other one. Okay. That's that easy. Now what we're gonna do is we are going to just fold it up, and then those pieces that were cut are gonna come to the outside, and then you want to kind of line them up again to kind of crease it again. Okay, like that. So now what we have is it will open like this. We're going to glue this in, and that gives us our pocket. So if you see in here, this is this page, and then we have the pocket here. That's because we're going to glue this. Now, if you want a top loading pocket instead of a side loading pocket, then just glue this side. Actually, it doesn't work. Never mind. I'm sorry. I mean, you can, but you still have to glue this side in, because this is the part that's going to get glued into the accordion part. So if you want a top loading pocket, you're still going to have to glue the width of the little tab. So you're going to have a smaller pocket. Okay, that's why I just glue the top down and then have the side loading pocket. All right, so that's our pocket, and then we have this page. Okay, so then on this one, we're gonna just do the same thing. We're gonna fold it up. Oh, let's see. We're gonna this is the solid on the outside. I want the floral on the outside. So we're gonna fold it this way. Yeah. So you can readjust it. but I want the pattern. And I'm just gonna line it up. Make sure it's all lined up. Then you fold it in, and then there we go. We have our page. This is gonna be the pocket. I'm gonna glue that, and then we have the pattern. Okay. And now we have our signatures. So it's really easy once you, and you might have to rewind it a couple times to look at it, but it's actually very, very simple. And I solved the problem of losing my rulers. I'm always like, where did my ruler go? I got a mason jar, and I'm trying to remember to put my rulers right back in the mason jar. So I'm not spending half the video looking for my rulers. Okay. So now we take our base, which again is now all completely dry, and you just decide which side you want where. Okay. We have our 2 tabs. Okay. So last time I did the pattern first or the solid first, I don't remember. I'm gonna go with this one. I'm gonna do the pattern first. Okay. So we have it. This is our sheet. We folded it up, right? So we have this pocket part here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna open this up, and then we're gonna put glue. I got way too much art glitter glue. It did not dry very fast. We're gonna put the glue on both sides of that tab. Okay. Then, because you don't want the other part to get to it, this part where you're gonna have that pocket form, you're gonna take that and you're gonna slide it up, and you're gonna just hold that over and make sure you get that in there. And you wanna make sure you get it up all the way so that these pages line up. So you have to go in all the way, and then I just flip it each direction and really press down, make sure it's lined up. And you might need to trim off a little bit here and there, but once it gets decorated, you generally don't have to. Okay, and there we have it. And I've got just a tiny bit I might need to cut off, but that's from where I cut it initially. But then the rest of it's lined up. Okay, so then, now to maximize your pocket space, you want to do as small a line as possible with this glue. You don't want to get it too wide, because then you take away your pocket space. But you want to make sure you get enough on there, because you don't want it to come undone. But if it ever did, you could always just re-glue it. It wouldn't be the end of the world. Okay, there we go. First signature done. It's that easy. So once you get the hang of the accordion fold, it's really, really simple. Okay. So that's our first signature. Now we're gonna do our second signature. Same way. So we're gonna put the glue down. You wanna get it all over the tab. Not too much, not too little. Okay. And then you want to make sure you're doing it the same way. So see, we have the opening there, and then we're going to glue at the top. And you want to make sure you get this end all the way, if you can see, all the way up. You want to, and then you kind of want to give it a little push, not too hard because you don't want to tear it, but you want to make sure that you're getting it all the way up there. And then push it down. Oops. Make sure it gets down there. So that's one thing that's nice about using the art glitter glue. It's going to grab hold almost instantly. look how great. And then when you're turning the pages, they lay flat, which is so great. So we have our first pocket here, which is dry, and it's got the pattern in there, which is nice. If you want to punch holes, you can. I didn't, because I put a card in that had tabs on it. Okay, so now we need to glue this pocket shut. And again, you want to just do a narrow line so you maximize your space. All right. Make sure that takes hold. Okay. It's basically done. We've got a nice crease here. And then I just kind of push it then again this way, make sure there's a nice crease. Okay, so now we are going to open this up. I'm just going to trim this little tiny bit. It is just a sliver. Tiny, tiny sliver. Okay. There we go. Oh. Okay. So now we're gonna put the signatures to one side and one to the other side. Because it doesn't, I guess this one was kind of directional, but not really. Yeah, not really, because it moves all around. But if you have directional paper, you want to kind of check that. It's better though, because you're folding the paper, to use one that's really not directional. Okay, so now take one signature and put that side, and then let's flip this over with the way that we're going to have it. What did I say? Oh, this way, yeah. I want the pattern first. Make sure directionally, yeah, that looks good. Okay. All right, so open it up to the middle and then flip it over. And then what we're gonna do now is we're gonna put our cover on, and you just wanna decide, we need to cut it down to 5.5 by 11. So I think I'll cut off the part that doesn't have as much distressing on it. Put that aside. Now, then the other thing is this piece, because this our base was 11.5 inches, but we did the accordion part of it, so it's now 9 inches. Once we put this on here, you're gonna, oh, I did that wrong. Oh, I cut it at the wrong height. What did I do? Oh, I did 5 inches instead of 5.5. That's okay. This one is a pretty small pattern too, so I'll just do this one. Let me try that again. Yeah, we'll cut that. So 5.5. Much better. Sorry. Okay, so then I want it to go this way. So you can see that this is longer because it's because we use some of that for the accordions. So it's actually 9 inches. So it's, sorry, I said 11 by 5.5, but it's not. It's 9 by 5.5. So now I want to figure out how I want it, and I'm going to cut off this part that doesn't have as much flower. I think that'll be good. And you can always cut a little bit off from one side and a little bit off from the other side too. Okay. So do I want it? So what I was going to tell you is it is 9 inches, but the base doesn't work out exactly perfect when you do the accordion. So what I do is I do it to the 9 inches, and then you'll see the pages, the inside pages are 9 inches long. So we're just gonna have to trim this little bit right here. Or if you wanted, because it is the solid color, we might just actually turn that edge over. I think we're gonna do that this time. But yeah, you're gonna have, it's gonna be a little bit longer underneath. It's just to get the accordions to measure out correctly. It's, I couldn't figure out a way. Okay, so for this is my, so this is gonna be my front cover. So on the right side, yeah, I'm good with that. What do I want? We'll do it this way. Okay. It's still a small pattern. I mean, technically, if you wanted, you could always do, you could also, I just want to give you ideas also. We could do a short, and we could do something like that, right? If you wanted to have, oh, that might be kind of cute to do it like that and then have a pocket. See, there are no mistakes. There are no mistakes. But what I want, like that, and a pocket, and then we can decorate the pocket and interesting. Oh, I say yes, let's do it. Because we're gonna decorate this, so we'll leave the pattern up there. But I want to cut this down some. So I know this is at, what did I say, 5 inches? Oh, we could do it like this, and then just have a small little pocket. I'm gonna do that. Look at me being all creative on the sly. See, that's why we say there's no mistakes in crafting. So I just kind of bent that over. Just right there. Oops. Like, I would have never thought to do that had I not made that mistake. Because I really did want the smaller pattern. And then we'll have just a little pocket. Okay, so I'm gonna glue this one down first. Let me cut this to the 9 inches though. Because I didn't do that part yet. Okay. 9 inches. Okay. Oh, I'm so excited for this mistake. I like kind of and I went ahead and made another mistake and did the wrong one. I'll get there, guys. This is why I try to do it ahead of time. Even when I try to do stuff ahead of time. 9. Okay. There was that 9? Oh, that was 9. Duh. I forgot. There is going to be a little bit that's shorter, or that's longer. I'm forgetting everything. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the glue down. I'm going to use, and I want to put a lot of glue in the spine here, and make sure you get a good amount on the edges. I'm using the Beacon 3-in-1 so it doesn't warp these pages all up. Then I'm going to line up the edge here, because it's the back side that's going to be slightly longer. And I'm going to just glue this down, kind of work it in to the crease some. Okay, now I got to figure this part out, because I think I just want the pocket on the front. So I can see where my crease is. So I'm going to run the glue up here and here. Oops. Get that underneath there a little bit more. So along the edge, and then here I'm going to just do all over. Then that should give us our pocket on the front, not on the back. Oops. Don't go too aggressive, like me. And I might have to come in and redo the pocket part a little bit. The other thing I like about this solvent glue is if it gets on your hands, you just do that and it balls right up, kind of like hot glue does. So it doesn't leave you as messy and sticky. Okay, so then I think it will still be cute to fold that over. So I am just going to do that. So I'm just lining it up with the back page. Yeah. There we go. Cute. And then even the glue that's on the outside, you could just go like this and it comes right up. It's like fascinating glue to me. Now I see why so many people use it. Oops. Make sure we're not sticking. Okay. Like I said, I might have to go back in there and clean up that pocket, but for right now, I'm gonna just let that sit. Okay. Open it up so it sits flat. We're gonna let that dry. Now we can start working on some of the embellishments. Actually, you know what? I think we are at a good stopping place, because this is going to be a long video. So that's how you make it. And then I will do another video where we'll do all the fixings and put all the stuff in here, because on this one, on this topper, I ended up making a pocket. So I think I'm excited that we just have, oh, I need to add a little glue here too. But yeah, I'm excited that we're gonna just have a built-in little pocket on the cover. That's really good. Okay, so let me just tell you, when you go, because I feel like that glue's dry enough now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna just take that front signature and we're gonna push it down and we're just gonna fold right there. And then we're gonna come on the back side and just fold to crease that. Okay, open that up and then fold to crease that. And then you've created your spine like that. And there is your accordion journal. You gotta look at a little sticky right there. So let's just take a quick look. So this is our front with our pocket. And I'm probably gonna put some fabric over there. Then we have our first page, our pocket, which is pretty that it's got a pattern in it. And then there we have this page, our pocket, and then the next page. That'll stop sticking here soon. I just gotta get that glue off. There we go. Okay. So there you have it. That is the accordion journal. That is what becomes this. Although this was with cardstock, so that's partially why it's thicker. And then we will work on finishing it off in the next video. But at least I've shown you guys how to make it, shown you a little bit of what the two different kits look like. And I'm excited. I'm having so much fun with this journal, because with the pocket here, with these pockets, you can actually put, even though it's a small journal, you can actually put so much in this. So today, my prayer for all of you watching this video is that you know how truly loved you are, that you know how cherished you are, that you know how special you are, and how important you are to the world. Because you are unique, you are special, you were wonderfully made, and the world needs you, needs your heart, needs your love, needs your voice, and needs your wisdom. And I pray that you remember all of that today. Remember, you are loved and you are cherished. Amen. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Until next time, love always, Savannah.